Hello dear beloved, the testimony you are about to listen to was sent to us by a sister. In her experience she was told to warn the world about the coming tribulations. So if you are listening to this today, please I beg you to watch this video to the end in order not to miss any information from this warning. Before I share her testimony, please it would be nice to know where you are listening from. Also, if you have any prayer requests, please leave it in the comments section so that we can continue to put you in prayer. Now relax and listen as I share her testimony with you. Hello Daily Renewal team. My name is Lu Yang. I'm 31 years old and I live in Chengdu in Sichuan province, China. I work as a translator for a small publishing company. I've been a believer for about 7 years now. I came to faith through a co-worker who invited me to a house church meeting. It wasn't dramatic or anything. I just felt something shift inside me when I heard about Jesus, like a door opening in a room I didn't know existed. Since then, I've been part of that same small group, about 15 of us who meet in different apartments every week to pray and study the Bible together. We have to be careful, of course. We keep things low-key. The dream I'm about to tell you happened about a month ago, on a Tuesday night. I remember because I'd had a long day at work. My boss had given me a rush translation job, a 50-page technical manual about industrial machinery, and I'd stayed late to finish it. By the time I got home, my eyes were burning from staring at the computer screen. I heated up some leftover rice and vegetables, ate quickly, and went straight to bed. I didn't even read my Bible that night, which I usually try to do. I was just too tired. I fell asleep almost immediately. The dream started in a way that felt completely normal. I was sitting in the back seat of a taxi, one of those old red ones you still see around the city sometimes. The driver was an older man with gray hair and he was listening to the radio, some talk show I couldn't quite make out. I was looking out the window at the familiar streets of Chengdu, watching the buildings and shops pass by. We were heading east, I think, though I'm not sure how I knew that. The traffic was light, which is unusual for Chengdu. Normally the roads are packed, but in the dream there were hardly any other cars. It felt peaceful at first. I leaned my head against the window and looked up at the sky. It was late afternoon, that golden hour before sunset when the light gets soft and warm. I've always loved that time of day. I was just watching the clouds drift by, not really thinking about anything in particular. Then I noticed something odd. There was a bright spot in my vision, like when you accidentally look at the sun and then see that annoying afterimage everywhere you turn. I blinked a few times trying to make it go away. I looked down at my lap, then back up at the sky. The spot was still there. I turned my head to the left, thinking maybe I'd stared at something reflective without realizing it. But the spot didn't move with my eyes the way afterimages usually do. It stayed in the same place in the sky. That's when I realized it wasn't in my vision. It was actually in the sky. I sat up straighter and pressed my face closer to the window. The bright spot was growing, getting bigger and brighter. It looked like a star falling, but it was daytime. The light was intense, almost white, with a faint golden edge. And it was moving fast, streaking across the sky from right to left. I felt my heart start to race. The driver said something, but I couldn't hear him clearly. My ears were ringing a little, or maybe it was just the blood pounding in my head. I watched the light disappear behind some buildings, and for a moment I thought maybe it was over. Maybe it was just a plane or some kind of unusual meteor. But then I saw more. 2 more lights appeared in the sky ahead of us, smaller than the first one but just as bright. These didn't streak across the sky like the first one had. Instead, they hovered, pulsing gently. They looked almost like clouds, but clouds that glowed from within. They were translucent, wispy, and they moved in a strange synchronized way like they were breathing. I opened my mouth to say something to the driver, but no words came out. I just stared. The taxi turned a corner, and suddenly the view opened up. We were on a wide street now, with fewer buildings blocking the horizon. And that's when I saw them. Dozens of lights, maybe hundreds, filling the entire sky. Some were bright and solid, others were faint and wispy. They all moved slowly, deliberately, like they had purpose. I knew in that moment that this was it. Something had begun. Something massive and unstoppable. The taxi slowed down and I looked to my right. That's when I saw it. At first I thought it was a building. But buildings don't move. This thing, this being, was standing on the side of the road, maybe 30 or 40 meters away from us. It was enormous, easily as tall as a 4 or 5-story apartment building. It had the shape of a person, but there was something wrong about it. Something that made my stomach twist. It looked like a woman, or at least it had long hair and a flowing robe. But the proportions were off. The limbs were too long, the torso too narrow. The hair wasn't hanging down naturally, it was lifted up, floating around the head like it was suspended in water. The face was turned away from me, thank God, because I didn't want to see it. I couldn't explain why, but every instinct in my body screamed at me not to look directly at its face. In its right hand it held a massive rod. The rod was dark, maybe black or deep gray, and it looked heavy. The being lifted the rod slowly and pointed it at something down the street, a cluster of parked cars, I think. A beam of light shot out from the tip of the rod. The explosion was silent in the dream, but I felt it. The cars disintegrated. Just gone. Turned into dust and light. The being moved the rod again, pointing it at a building. Another beam. Another silent explosion. The building crumbled like it was made of sand. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. My throat was tight, my chest was aching. The taxi kept moving, slowly, like we were in a funeral procession. I pressed myself against the door, trying to make myself smaller, trying to disappear. And then a voice spoke inside my mind. It wasn't loud, but it was clear. Steady. That is an angel. I shook my head. No. Angels don't destroy things. Angels are supposed to protect people, right? They're supposed to be good. The voice didn't argue with me. It just repeated, quieter this time. That is an angel. I didn't know what to think. I watched the being continue its work, methodically pointing the rod and releasing beams of light. Everything it touched was obliterated. I felt a crushing weight in my chest, a certainty that I couldn't name but that I knew was true. This was the end. Not the end of the world, maybe, but the end of something. The end of the time we'd been living in. The beginning of something else. Tribulation. The word appeared in my mind, unbidden. The taxi turned again, and for a moment, the angel was out of sight. I exhaled, not realizing I'd been holding my breath. My hands were shaking. I looked down at them, trying to steady myself, trying to think of what to do. And then I felt it, a pull. The angel was looking at us. I didn't see it turn its head, but I knew. I could feel its attention like a weight pressing down on me. The taxi driver muttered something in a dialect I didn't understand. He sounded scared. The angel raised the rod. It pointed directly at the taxi. Time slowed down. I could see the tip of the rod glowing, building up light. In a second, maybe less, that beam would fire. We would be gone. Just like the cars. Just like the building. I closed my eyes. And without thinking, without planning, I whispered the only words I could find. Even though my enemies rise against me, my Lord Jesus Christ is still with me. I don't know why I said it. It just came out. But as soon as the words left my lips, I felt something change. The air in the taxi shifted. The pressure lifted just slightly. I opened my eyes. The beam of light shot out from the rod, but it missed. It went over the taxi, passing above us by maybe a meter or two. I felt the heat of it, or maybe I just imagined I did. The light was blinding, but it didn't touch us. And then, suddenly, I felt something else. Peace. Not relief, not just the absence of fear. Actual peace, like a blanket being wrapped around me. My racing heart slowed. My shaking hands steadied. The fear that had been choking me just melted away. It was the strangest thing. The angel was still out there, still destroying everything in sight. The sky was still full of lights. The world was still ending. But I felt completely, utterly at peace. A thought came to me clear as day, though I don't think it was my own thought. Fear is an illusion. I repeated it in my mind. Fear is an illusion. I didn't fully understand it, but I believed it. I knew it was true. The taxi kept driving. I looked around and everything seemed different now. It was like a veil had been lifted from my eyes. I could see things I hadn't seen before, layers of reality I hadn't known existed. I could see the fear radiating off the driver like heat waves. I could see the spiritual weight pressing down on the city. I could see the plan behind it all, the strategy, the way the enemy worked. But I also saw something else. I saw that none of it could touch me. Not really. Not as long as I held on to the truth. The driver suddenly panicked. He jerked the steering wheel to the right, and the taxi veered off the road. We were heading straight toward a building, a big gray concrete structure with narrow windows. I should have been terrified, but I wasn't. In my heart, I said quietly, "There is no building." The driver braced himself. I didn't. I just sat there, calm, watching. The taxi passed through the wall. It didn't crash. There was no impact, no sound of metal crumpling or glass shattering. The building wasn't real. Or maybe it was real, but it didn't matter. We passed through it like it was made of smoke. But on the other side of the wall, everything went dark. The light from outside disappeared completely. The air turned cold. I couldn't see the driver anymore, couldn't see the seats or the windows. Just darkness. Thick, heavy darkness that seemed to move. It shifted and swirled like it was alive. I watched the shadows gather in front of me. They started forming shapes, figures, faces. I saw something massive taking form in the distance, something with wings and horns and eyes that glowed faintly red. A dragon. Its face was turning toward me, getting closer. My heart started to pound again. The peace I'd felt earlier wavered. The dragon's face filled my vision, its mouth opening, its eyes locking onto mine. I felt myself starting to wake up. I didn't want to. I wanted to see what would happen next. I wanted to see what the Lord would show me. But the fear was too strong. It pulled me out of the dream, dragging me back to consciousness. I woke up gasping. I was in my bed in my tiny apartment in Chengdu. The room was dark, but I could see the faint glow of the streetlights outside my window. My heart was racing, my sheets were soaked with sweat. I felt like I'd been running for hours. I sat up and put my face in my hands. I felt awful. Not because of the dream itself, but because I knew, somehow I just knew, that the Lord had wanted to show me more. And I'd let fear stop me. I'd woken up too soon. I whispered an apology into the darkness. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wanted to see. I wanted to stay." I didn't hear a response, but I felt a gentle nudge in my spirit. It was okay. He wasn't angry, but there had been more to see. I spent the rest of the night sitting on my bed, replaying the dream in my mind. I didn't go back to sleep. I couldn't. The next morning, I went to work like normal, but I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about the angel with the iron rod, the lights in the sky, the dragon in the darkness. I kept thinking about the words that had come to me. Fear is an illusion. Over the next few days, I started noticing things. Little things. I'd see the number 6 everywhere, on license plates, on receipts, in random places. I'd hear news reports about fires in distant cities. I'd have this nagging feeling in my chest like something was coming. Something big. I told a few people in my house church about the dream. Some of them thought it was just a nightmare. Others thought it might be a warning. One older woman, Sister May, told me she thought the dream was a gift. She said the Lord was preparing me for something, showing me that even in the worst moments He would be with me. That even when everything seemed to be falling apart, His peace could carry me through. I think she was right. I don't know what's coming. I don't know if the dream was literal or symbolic, or if it was about something that's going to happen soon or far in the future. But I do know this. I'm not afraid anymore. Or at least I'm less afraid than I used to be. The dream taught me something I don't think I could have learned any other way. It taught me that fear is not from God. It taught me that no matter how big the enemy looks, no matter how powerful the darkness seems, it can't touch the peace that Jesus gives. It taught me that when I acknowledge Him, when I hold on to Him, nothing, not angels with iron rods, not dragons, not even death itself, can separate me from His love. I still have questions. I still don't fully understand what I saw, but I'm learning to trust that God will reveal what I need to know when I need to know it. If you're listening to this, I want to encourage you. Maybe you've had a dream like mine. Maybe you felt that same fear, that same sense that something is coming. Or maybe you're just tired, just overwhelmed by the world and everything that's happening in it. I want to tell you what the Lord told me. Fear is an illusion. It feels real. It feels heavy and crushing and impossible to escape. But it's not the truth. The truth is that Jesus is with you. The truth is that His peace is stronger than any fear. The truth is that when you call on His name, when you acknowledge His presence in the middle of the storm, He will carry you through. Don't let fear drive you. Don't let it dictate your decisions or steal your joy. Give it to Jesus. Let Him replace it with His peace. And whatever He's shown you, whatever He's called you to, don't look back. Don't hold on to the things of this world so tightly that you miss what He has for you. There's nothing more valuable than Him. I'm still learning this. I'm still growing. But I know it's true. So hold on to Jesus. Trust Him. And don't be afraid. I know you have been blessed by this testimony. Please don't take this as a joke, it's not. The signs of end time is showing already. Don't joke with the warning and the signs. Let's go back to God. And at the end, when Jesus will come back, we will go back with Him with joy. Thank you for listening. If you have been blessed, please kindly like this video and share to your loved ones. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more of this revelations that will be shared on this platform. Until next one, remain blessed.